The preseason continues to roll, and all eyes are on the Dallas Cowboys as they prepare to host the Atlanta Falcons this Friday night. Heading into Week 3, the Cowboys are still searching for that elusive first win, and the tension is starting to build. Every snap matters, not just for the scoreboard, but for the development of players who are fighting for roles in the regular season. While preseason victories don't count in the standings, they are a perfect snapshot of where a team is heading and, more importantly, who is ready to contribute when the games actually start to matter. This matchup is going to provide plenty of answers, but it also raises a lot of questions, especially for a Cowboys team that has shown flashes but not consistency so far. Joe Milton will once again be the center of attention at quarterback for Dallas. The preseason has been a rough ride for him, and the narrative surrounding his play has been hard to ignore. Milton has all the physical tools a team could hope for: a strong arm, mobility, and the kind of athleticism that can make him dangerous in a variety of situations. But tools alone don't win games, and what has been missing is the ability to put it all together. There have been moments where he flashes brilliance, threading difficult passes or moving out of the pocket to extend a play, but those moments are often followed by mistakes that set the offense back. It's the classic Joe Milton experience: exciting in theory, frustrating in practice. This game against the Falcons offers a crucial opportunity for him to start building a narrative that leans more toward promise than disappointment. If Milton can manage a clean, effective performance, it could change the perception of his role on this roster heading into the regular season. At the same time, Will Grier is looming as a potential alternative, a quarterback who could step in as a reliable backup if Milton struggles. There's always a tension in these preseason matchups between giving your projected starter reps and ensuring you have confidence in the depth chart. The Cowboys coaching staff faces a dilemma. How much time do you give Milton to prove he's the guy, and at what point do you start leaning on Grier to see if he's ready to contribute? These are decisions that might not make headlines immediately, but they have significant implications for the team's trajectory. If Milton falters again, the staff will need answers quickly, and Grier's performance in a real game setting could determine whether the Cowboys feel comfortable rolling with him if they need to later in the season. Fans watching this game aren't just cheering for wins. They're watching the growth of the quarterbacks, and every throw, every decision, every movement in the pocket is under scrutiny. The offense as a whole has also been an area of concern. In previous weeks, the Cowboys have struggled to get anything going early, particularly in the first quarter. Against strong preseason competition, they've managed barely a yard in the opening series in one game, and even negative yardage in another. On paper, these numbers are alarming, but they reflect a combination of factors: execution, play calling, and the natural challenge of getting players in sync during preseason. Still, the coaching staff, led by Brian Schottenheimer, will be under the microscope. While it's understood that preseason play involves conservative calls and player rotations, there's a limit to what can be excused. If the offensive line is healthy and the skill players are on the field, there's no reason the team should struggle to move the ball consistently, even in limited reps. The first quarter, as always, sets the tone, and this matchup offers a chance for the Cowboys to demonstrate improvement, particularly against a Falcons defense that won't be fielding all of its starters. Running backs are another key story heading into this game. With Javonte Williams likely out, the opportunity falls to players like Miles Sanders and Jaden Blue to show what they can do in live action. Sanders had a rough outing last week, struggling with vision and timing, which is a crucial component for any back trying to make an impact. Jaden Blue, on the other hand, has an opportunity to make a splash. The preseason is all about creating opportunities for players to showcase explosiveness, vision, and playmaking ability. Watching how the running backs navigate gaps, handle blitzes, and contribute in both the running and passing game will be fascinating. The depth chart is fluid, and performances in these early weeks can drastically affect who makes the team and who might find themselves on the practice squad. It's a high-stakes audition in every snap, and players know that every carry, every cutback, and every catch can define their future. The wide receiver room also presents questions. Tayon Holden, for instance, has been mentioned in reports as potentially moving up the depth chart, but it remains to be seen whether that translates into meaningful snaps or just more of a placeholder role. Tracking how the receivers are utilized in this game will give fans insight into how the coaching staff views their readiness and potential. Is a young receiver ready to step into the rotation, or is he still being evaluated for later contributions? These nuances can be subtle, but are critically important when it comes to determining which players are seen as viable contributors for the regular season. Defensively, rotations will also be under the microscope. The Falcons will challenge the Cowboys' defensive line and linebackers, particularly in scenarios where backups are on the field. Monitoring the defensive tackle rotation, for example, will provide clarity on who might be in line for a roster spot. Players like Jay Toya and Perion Winfrey could distinguish themselves with strong performances, and those who excel can significantly improve their standing with the coaching staff. Quarterback matchups aren't the only thing at stake. Every rep in the trenches, on the edge, or in coverage counts toward future opportunities. These matchups will also reveal how players respond under pressure and how the team as a whole adjusts to in-game challenges. Special teams, often overlooked, are also part of the equation. Preseason games are when coaches evaluate the less glamorous but equally important aspects of the roster. Players like Ryan Fennoy and Phil Maffa have seen special team snaps, and their effectiveness in those roles can make or break their chances of making the final roster. Special teams contributions are often the deciding factor in late roster decisions, and performance here is just as meaningful as offensive or defensive stats. Whether it's coverage, blocking, or returns, these plays are high-leverage moments for players looking to secure a spot. Overall, this game between the Cowboys and Falcons is a mix of opportunity and evaluation. It's about quarterbacks proving themselves, skilled players making their case, and coaches figuring out rotations and depth. Every rep is meaningful, and while wins in the preseason don't determine the season, the lessons learned and the clarity gained are invaluable. Fans tuning in will see a blend of established players and hopefuls, and the drama comes not just from the score, but from watching potential careers take shape and futures on the line. On offense, the quarterback room continues to dominate the conversation. Joe Milton's performance will be dissected with microscopic attention. His ability to process the field quickly, make accurate throws under pressure, and manage the pace of the game will define his trajectory with this team. Milton's previous outings have been a mix of promise and frustration. He has the ability to make dynamic plays, to extend a drive with his legs, and to hit receivers in tight windows. But those flashes have often been overshadowed by turnovers, missed reads, and moments where it seems like the timing between him and his receivers is off. The question heading into this matchup is whether he can put together a complete, mistake-free game, or whether he will revert to the type of inconsistency that has plagued his preseason so far. Will Grier remains the undercurrent in this quarterback conversation? If Milton struggles at any point, Grier will have an opportunity to show that he can handle live game situations. Preseason games provide a unique lens for evaluating a backup quarterback because the stakes are lower than in the regular season, but the pressure is still real. Grier's decision-making, timing, and chemistry with the receivers will be closely monitored. For the Cowboys, having confidence in their backup is critical. Injuries are inevitable over the course of a long season, and a reliable second-string quarterback can make the difference between surviving a tough stretch or facing a crisis. Grier's performance here could very well define the backup quarterback role for the first part of the season. Beyond the quarterback situation, the offensive line will be another key element to watch. The Cowboys have invested heavily in building a strong, deep line, and preseason games offer the first meaningful test of cohesion and execution. How the line handles pressure, how they adjust to stunts and blitzes, and how they communicate on the fly will have ripple effects throughout the game. Quarterbacks rely on their line not just for protection, but for the ability to execute timing-based plays. Early struggles on the line can force hurried throws, which in turn can impact both Milton and Grier's confidence. Conversely, if the line performs well, it can allow the quarterbacks to play with poise and make more aggressive decisions downfield. Running backs will once again have their moment to shine. Miles Sanders, after a rough performance last week, will be looking to show improvement. Preseason success is often about more than just yardage. It's about vision, patience, decisiveness, and the ability to find creases in the defense. Sanders' ability to process the defensive alignment quickly, to anticipate gaps, and to maintain balance through contact will be critical. Meanwhile, Jaden Blue is expected to play and has a real opportunity to make an impact. For a young running back, the preseason is all about creating flashes that demonstrate potential and explosiveness. Every cut, every acceleration through a hole, every reception out of the backfield is a chance to stake a claim for more significant playing time. The wide receiver room remains a storyline full of intrigue. Players like Tayon Holden are hoping to move up the depth chart, but opportunities can be limited. Preseason games reveal not only individual skill, but also how players fit into the team's scheme, their chemistry with quarterbacks, and their ability to execute in a live setting. A receiver who can consistently run precise routes, catch in traffic, and make yards after the catch can dramatically improve his stock, while even minor lapses can reinforce questions about readiness. The coaching staff will be watching closely, assessing who is prepared to contribute on multiple levels and who still needs development before the regular season begins. Defensively, rotations will provide a wealth of insight into who is capable of making an impact. With some Falcons starters sidelined, backups will have an opportunity to step into the spotlight. Players on the defensive line, especially those in the rotation, will be tested on their ability to maintain gap integrity, generate pressure, and execute assignments against both the run and the pass. Linebackers and secondary players will be scrutinized for their reaction times, coverage skills, and tackling efficiency. Preseason matchups often expose areas of weakness that might not be apparent in practice, and coaches will be eager to identify players who can rise to the challenge under game conditions. The results of these evaluations will help determine not only who makes the roster, but also how rotations will be managed once the regular season begins. Special teams are another crucial area that can shape roster decisions. Players often fight for the final spots on the team by demonstrating value in coverage units, return teams, and blocking assignments. Every play counts, and even a single mistake or a single standout performance can influence the coaching staff's decision-making. For players like Ryan Fennoy and Phil Maffa, the opportunity to contribute on special teams can mean the difference between making the active roster or being relegated to the practice squad. Coaches pay close attention to effort, awareness, and execution in these situations, knowing that special teams performance often translates directly into meaningful minutes in the regular season. The running back and wide receiver competitions intersect with roster considerations, making this game particularly high stakes for those on the fringe. Javonte Williams' absence opens opportunities for others to step up, and the performance of players like Miles Sanders and Jaden Blue will signal who is ready to handle the responsibilities of a lead back when needed. Similarly, wide receivers will be evaluated not just for their athleticism, but for their route running precision, their ability to read defenses, and their chemistry with whoever is at quarterback. Every rep in live action is more valuable than 1,000 repetitions in practice, and players understand that the difference between a good preseason and a breakout can hinge on the smallest details. The matchup between the Cowboys and Falcons is also an exercise in strategy and adaptation. Coaches have to balance giving their starters enough reps to build rhythm with giving backups meaningful opportunities to showcase their abilities. Decisions about which packages to run, when to rotate personnel, and how aggressively to call plays all factor into the evaluation process. The outcome on the scoreboard is secondary to the lessons learned on the field, and both teams are using this contest to answer fundamental questions about depth, talent, and readiness. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The Dallas Cowboys, a franchise long celebrated for its storied history and its occasional bursts of brilliance, appear to be quietly but decisively reshaping the architecture of their offensive line, and all eyes have turned toward the acquisition of Andrew Wylie, a player whose reputation as a versatile and tenacious lineman precedes him. Rumors have swirled for weeks regarding the team's strategy to solidify protection for their quarterback, and while official statements remain carefully measured, insiders suggest that the addition of Wylie is more than a mere transaction. It is a statement of intent. Known for his ability to adapt to multiple positions on the line and for a combination of agility and strength that allows him to manage both interior and edge threats, Wylie could be precisely the ingredient the Cowboys have been missing. Sources close to the team hint that discussions regarding contract structure and long-term planning were intense, with Wylie's camp insisting on clarity about his role in both immediate and future schemes. Fans, analysts, and rival teams alike have been quick to speculate about the potential ripple effects of this move, from shifting starter positions to influencing draft strategies, and even affecting the team's approach to game planning for the entire season, as his presence promises to open new opportunities for both the run game and pass protection schemes. Speculation around Wylie's integration into the Cowboys roster suggests that his arrival could trigger subtle but significant changes across the offensive unit, creating new alignments that exploit both his physical gifts and mental acuity. According to sources close to training staff and team insiders, Wylie has impressed with his attention to detail, ability to quickly absorb complex playbooks, and willingness to mentor younger players who may be struggling to adjust to the pace of professional play. There is talk that the coaching staff envisions him not merely as a blocker, but as a versatile chess piece capable of shifting between guard and tackle responsibilities depending on game flow, defensive schemes, and injury contingencies. The whispers in the locker room hint at growing excitement, with veteran players reportedly welcoming his competitive mindset and subtle leadership style, which, while not flashy, carries weight in crucial moments. Some speculate that his presence could influence the Cowboys' offensive philosophy, encouraging a more balanced approach that blends power running with agile, short to intermediate passing attacks designed to exploit mismatches along the defensive front. Analysts, both national and local, are already debating whether Wylie's addition could be the catalyst that transforms the Cowboys' line from solid to formidable, allowing the offense to function with more consistency and fewer high-pressure situations that often lead to turnovers or stall drives. Whispers around league circles suggest that rival teams have taken note of Wylie's signing, quietly reassessing their own defensive strategies in anticipation of facing a fortified Cowboys front. His ability to adjust to multiple positions and respond to defensive stunts has reportedly created a quiet buzz among defensive coordinators, who are said to be recalculating blocking schemes and pass rush tactics to counter potential advantages. The timing of the signing, as noted by insiders, seems particularly strategic, coming after a season that exposed certain vulnerabilities in pass protection, leading to quarterback pressures and a league-leading number of sacks that the front office has clearly prioritized addressing. Rumors indicate that team executives are viewing Wylie as not just a tactical addition, but also a psychological one, someone whose presence can boost confidence across the roster, from skilled players who rely on clean pockets to the offensive coordinator, who can now call plays with slightly less apprehension about pressure situations. Fan forums have exploded with speculation about how this move might affect the upcoming draft and free agent maneuvers, as some believe Wylie's versatility could reduce the urgency to invest in additional linemen immediately, while others argue it might free up the team to pursue impact skill players who complement a stronger line. In short, the murmuring surrounding this signing suggests that Wylie's impact could reverberate far beyond the immediate line, influencing both strategic and psychological dynamics across the team and the league. Insiders have further hinted that Wylie's acclimation to the Cowboys system may be smoother than usual due to his reputed work ethic and adaptability, qualities that reportedly impressed coaching staff during preliminary evaluations and private workouts. His presence is expected to challenge existing starters while simultaneously offering them opportunities to elevate their own games, creating an environment of subtle internal competition that often translates to improved performance on the field. Rumors suggest that positional battles will be closely watched throughout preseason training camps, with some projecting that Wylie may immediately start at his natural position, while others suggest rotational schemes could be implemented to maximize the effectiveness of the line as a whole. Observers point to the potential for Wylie to influence not only blocking assignments, but also pre-snap communication and line adjustments, skills often overlooked by casual fans, but critical in neutralizing blitzes and exploiting defensive weaknesses. The underlying buzz among players and analysts implies that Wylie could serve as a stabilizing force, lending both experience and flexibility to a unit that has struggled with consistency, injuries, and pressure-induced mistakes in previous seasons. Speculation has even reached social media, where fan reactions range from cautious optimism to full-blown excitement, with many noting that the Cowboys might have finally found a lineman capable of bridging the gap between youthful potential and season performance. A rumor-driven narrative that continues to grow as training camps progress and insiders hint at further strategic moves to complement Wylie's integration. Finally, the ongoing murmurs surrounding Andrew Wylie and the Dallas Cowboys hints at a larger, perhaps more profound, strategy designed to signal ambition to the league and ignite enthusiasm among the fan base. According to multiple sources, the front office views this signing not just as a tactical adjustment, but as part of a broader message, one that communicates intent to compete at the highest level and address long-standing concerns with offensive protection and line depth. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.